Hey everyone, Sentypes, and in Japan, there are these tournaments called City Leagues. These are moderate-sized tournaments in Japan, and if you're not familiar, Japan has a slightly different format than the international Pokemon TCG, specifically because some sets are released sooner. There's some other differences, but I mean, it's pretty similar. I do want to mention that these lists are, hopefully, unless I forgot, down below in the video's description. And so you can check those out. You can theoretically put them into live, but not necessarily yet. If they're, contain cards that aren't out, you obviously can't play them in live. And if you try to import it, it like won't work. But anyways, these are all today. We're gonna be taking a look 5 lists that won tournaments in Japan, these league tournaments, and these are interesting decks in my opinion. Some really interesting ideas. Some that are unique, some that are more just like rogue decks, and a lot of these are playing new cards as well that aren't out yet. If you're not familiar, Japan has a Mega Dream EX as well as the set of 100 decks, and both of those contain some new cards, and these will be coming out in Ascended Heroes internationally. Also, rotation is right around the corner in Japan. I'm really excited to see that, but that's when I say right around the corner, I mean like I think it's around 2 weeks, so we have a little bit of time, but I am excited for that. But let's just hop right in to the first deck here. This is Honchkrow with Porygon-Z. If you're not familiar, well, first of all, with Porygon-Z / Porygon-2 as well, they have this attack here. Our command that says this does 20 damage for each supporter card in your discard with Team Rocket in their name. And yeah, this allows you to do decent damage here. It is 3 colors on the stage 1, 2 on the stage 2. The Team Rocket's Porygon-Z has an ability. It's like not super good. I mean, you discard 2, draw 1, which is kind of bad. But you do want the supports in the discard pile. And you have a bunch of them. You have there's a total of 20, which this list plays all of them. There's also the item Team Rocket's Transceiver to search for a Team Rocket supporter. The Team Rocket supporters are pretty good. They do just generally good supporter things like setting up, getting you the cards you need, drawing you cards, gusting, things like that. We also do see the new item card, Pokepad. Pokepad is coming pretty soon internationally. This is a very good card, probably the best currently unreleased card. It's kind of crazy that's not clearly, well, it is realistically clearly the best unreleased card, but there's also a Meowth EX that's not out in Japan. This is also very good, and that's going to be really exciting, but this allows you to search for a Pokemon without a rule box as an item here. It's obviously very good for non-rule box decks. It's like still like pretty decent for rule box decks. Especially post-rotation with the loss of Nest Ball. Just going to be interesting to see how that works here. But ultimately, we have, the Team Rocket's Porygon-Z, and we have, or the line. Then we have Team Rocket's Honchkrow, which is not out internationally. This is a card that works pretty well, similarly to the Porygon line, letting you discard any amount of supporters with Team Rocket in their name, and then you do 60 for each carded in 60 for each 60 damage for each card discarded in this way. There we go. And yeah, that obviously can do pretty decent damage. I mean, you could theoretically one-shot like anything. It's a little clunky, but it's not too bad. Definitely a fun little single prize deck here. That's not bad. I mean, the Team Rocket's Porygon deck is kind of bad and standard right now, but it's not horrendous. I mean, as I was saying, the Spores do good supporter things. They are actually like quite good. The package of the Team Rocket support stuff is pretty good in general. This is also 2 color energy here, which can be paid for using Ignition or Team Rocket's energy. So overall, the deck is pretty interesting. In my opinion, I've heard a bunch of people talk about it. I don't think it's the deck I'm going to play that much, but I know there are some people who are going to really like this deck. It's not like Alakazam Lovely Good, which, Alakazam is, for a single price deck, very good, right? Or Crustle. Crustle is also a very good single price deck, but that's pretty different than Alakazam. But then you also have, not too many other single price decks. You have like Ethans or something, and this is like maybe a similar caliber to that, which is not too terrible there. But then we have the next deck here. This one is a really interesting one. Actually, the reason I wanted to make this video, this is a it's a Skeledirge, like, Terra box. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe this deck. But you have Skeledirge EX. Skeledirge EX is a super cool card. I think it's, like, kind of underrated. It's not super strong, but it's definitely interesting with your ability Incendiary Song, saying once during your turn, you can discard a basic fire from your hand to do 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. I've seen this mostly paired with Festival Lead because it doubles up the damage you do, or decks already playing Fire Energy. This, is not that. I mean, it's a colorless deck. It plays Moltres, it plays Trapghost EX, which is colorless, and Blood Merchant Luna EX, but I mean, you have the Skeledirge here. You can pair it with like Badoo to do a lot of damage with Item Block, which is interesting. You have Tiamat Pandi, or not Tiamat, what I'm saying, Trapagos EX, wrong Terra there. And you have Air Zero Underdepths to do big damage with that. In some ways, the speaking of Tiamat Pandi EX, you're doing two energies, Tiamat Pandi EX or Crispin or something like that is often used to power up Trapagos EX. Here you have Mela. It only plays one Mela, which, yeah, looks like the only way to power this up in one turn. But you are kind of, sitting behind Badu as well to power things up. So using that instead of, Crispins and energy switches and things like that. And it is Noctowl. It's not like pure Trapagos. Skeledirge GX is a Terra. That being said, obviously it's not a basic, right? So you need realistically a basic to be able to do the Terra stuff you want to be able to do, as in play the Noctowl and like actually use it. We also do see Pokepad here yet again. Obviously very good. You don't have all single prizers, but you have more single prizers than not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you run, what's it, 8 and 10. I think it's 13. I haven't miscounted there. I think I actually did miscount, but whatever. You run like more single prizers than multi prizers. Obviously, there are some very important multi prizers. Obviously, Fezandipiti EX, the Skeledirge EX itself, and Trapagos EX, and I mean, like all of them are pretty important. Also, Skeledirge EX does have a usable attack. It is like a Terra that actually changes type as well. Normally, we don't really talk about these too much. I mean, Charizard EXC's play, it is very good, but the fact that it changes type isn't anything new. But I can't really think of any others besides Charizard that are good, unless I'm blanking on anything. But the Skeledirge GX here is metal, which is like kind of fun. Honestly, I don't know if that's like good or not. It's probably like not good, to be honest, but it is a thing. And you do 160, and then you hit through effects on your points active, which is like kind of cool. I mean, it's not like super good, but it is definitely it's an okay attack, right? And the ability is definitely pretty nice here. It's just a really fun card if you haven't played with it. It's not like super good. With Festival Lead, again, you do double up the damage. That's where it's seen the most play, but it is a just pretty cool card. I mean, 60 extra damage is a lot. You got Moltres as well to be like a powerful one energy attack and things like that. Then we have the next deck here. This is Charizard. This is a bit of a different take on Charizard, though, which really caught my eye because it plays both Mega Charizards. Obviously, you have Charizard DX, the one who just mentioned, which is like a darkness that uses fire energy, and it like gets energies on your board. We have Oricorio EX as well to work with the Megas, but then you also have Pidgeot EX, and surprisingly, you have Chi. We actually have a split of Pidgeys and a Pidgeotos, which is kind of fun, and some other good cards in the deck. But the really interesting thing here, I will say, Munkidori. I'm Munkidori's #1 hater, but I feel like Munkidori seems kind of sketchy in this list here because I don't know. I mean, like you need to play these other energies. Yes, 6 fires for Charizard. That's like fine. But then you're running both megas, and if you like want to use the megas, if you want to use Oricorio EX, you're gonna need like this energy in these energy cards. Like you need them in your hand, but you also need them in your deck. And you do play as one superior energy retrieval, which could get you there, but like it might not. So, anyways, there seems like some kind of sketchy stuff being stretched thin here, but also that's what gives it the versatility here. The Mega Charizard X EX card, 1, terrible name, but 2, what it does for 2 here, you discard any amount of fire from your Pokemon. You do 90 for each card discarded in this way, so can do big one-shots here, which is powerful there, and can do like just decent damage if you need it as well. I heard someone describe it as like backwards Chien-Pao Excalibur, and Chien-Pao Excalibur was very good. I don't know how good it is now. I can't think of the last time I've seen it, but I think it's a little underrated, I guess, but like it's not that good. But anyways, this is like a nice option. It's not super good as the main attacker being a 3 prizer. So is obviously the other Mega Charizard, but the other one here also discards energy. So they are very energy heavy as well, which is kind of sketchy there with the relatively low energy amounts and access to it. But then you have for 3 here, you discard 3 from it, and then you do 280 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. I would say this Charizard is a bit better at being able to do snipe damage, which is like useful. It does like still a good chunk of damage as well. It actually does more for 3 than the other Mega. It does less in all other situations, but it is still it's definitely a pretty nice option. I mean, you have Terras like the Ogre Ponds and like Trapagos and things like that, and these are immune to bench damage, so that is like kind of bad, but hopefully like you'll still have Fezandipiti EX you can go after. I mean, Pidgeot EX itself has 280. This is so much snipe damage, even if you I was gonna say soften up a Dragapult. That's also a Terra, isn't it? But you could soften up I almost said soften up a Goldengo. You one shot that. You soften up something, or like it's good. It's good to hit bench Pokemon for a lot of damage. You do a lot of damage. That's good. So definitely a fun little, pretty simple, straightforward deck idea, but definitely kind of cool as well. Then we have the next deck here. This is a deck that really caught my eye. It is, first of all, a Toxtricity Vox deck. If you're not familiar with Toxtricity, which, by the way, there's a handful of cards like this. There's a few more coming in the next main expansion, Moon Zero, or wait, that's the Japanese one, or Perfect Order internationally, which I think these stage ones that have like decent energy support are cool. We've seen Electric, which is like fine and standard. But then we have Toxtricity here, which says once on your turn, you can use this ability to attach a basic from your basic Dark Energy from your deck to one of your bench Darkness Pokemon, and then you shuffle. Then if you attach any energy to a Pokemon this way, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So overall, going to be some pretty good energy acceleration. It does damage you, so obviously you kind of are looking for a Munkidori, but unfortunately you can't accelerate to Munkidori with this card, so that makes it a little more sketchy, but you do have the energy acceleration and the damage, so it does good synergy there, and obviously it gets energy on your board, and this is just like pretty good. It gets you energy pretty consistently. It's not crazy amounts of energy. I mean, if you have a bunch of Toxtricities, it is, and then you pair this with various different Darkness Pokemon. We have the Mega Absol EX card, which is a good card. It has pretty good synergy with it. I mean, it's not like perfect synergy, but I really do like Mega Absol EX with Toxtricity. Then Roaring Moon EX, interesting. It's going to be rotating, but definitely a pretty powerful card. Though don't accelerate too much energy to yourself, and then not heal it because you will get knocked out. But then you have Pekron EX as well, which you could attack with. Pekron EX is honestly a pretty good attacker. It does 60 for each prize your opponent's taken. I mean, it's not amazing, but I mean, during the late game, it's more powerful than Blood Mirror Luna EX potentially. It is like squishy, but obviously it's played for its ability. But its attack is very nice when you can power it up. It's just like kind of hard to do so a lot of the time. And you also can't switch it in, by the way. If you didn't know that, you cannot switch it in using its own ability. It's a different bench Pokemon. So that's like a weird thing that generally you're not really looking to switch this in, but yeah, you can get in. It's not like terrible, but having an energy acceleration to it makes it a lot easier. Then you have Brute Bonnet. This is a card that I imagine some people aren't very familiar with. This does for 1 darkness, it does poison. Honestly, I kind of forgot that, but then it does 50 for each damage counter on your opponent's active for 3 darkness. So if you can get your opponent's damage with the use of like a Munkidori, I think, or by like softening up with something, but realistically with probably Munkidori here. It could be with Yveltal, I guess, but and you have Yveltal as well for trapping. But yeah, the Brute Bonnet is definitely an interesting card. Oh, I guess I'll mention Yveltal is a pivot, so you can send that up with Pekron EX then to get into the Pekron EX as well. Overall, the deck's pretty cool. The one thing that really caught my eye was the double Fezandipiti EX, though. Double Fezandipiti EX, I think, is super underrated. I don't think it's amazing. Fezandipiti EX, though, is like, it's very good, right? I think it's clearly, in my opinion, the best Pokemon in the game. I don't think there's I guess I'd say second is Gardevoir EX, but like Gardevoir EX doesn't do everything. Yes, Fezandipiti EX also doesn't, but like Fezandipiti EX is like in like almost every deck in the game, right? It's like so good. But anyways, Fezandipiti EX is very good because it lets you draw 3 cards if one of your Pokemon's knocked out last turn. However, you can't use more than 1 flip the script ability each turn, which is theoretically, I mean, that is a big deal, right? That means that like, what's the point of playing 2 of these? That being said, I mean, it's so good at drawing 3 cards, especially after you're knocked out. That's like a lot of the turns in the game. It's some very important turns in the game, especially those later turns where you kind of need to find like boss for game or whatever. So Fezandipiti EX is like, it's very good, right? We don't really need to argue that. However, why is it only played as a 1 of? Yes, you can only use 1 per turn. But we've seen Squawkabilly EX sometimes as a 2 of. And on top of that, Fezandipiti EX is a card that if it gets knocked out, right, you want to play it early so you can have it on your board because it maintains like a more stable board. However, if it gets knocked out, then it's not there anymore, and that's kind of bad. Yes, some decks run a lot of Night Stretchers. I mean, this list here runs just 1 though, so it does run 2 super rods because you kind of need the energies in your deck there, but it just runs 1 Night Stretcher, which is kind of sketchy for getting your Fezandipiti EX back quickly. And on top of that, you could just like not search it out, right? You could just leave it in your deck, but then it's not in play, and if your opponent hits you with Disruption, then it's not there, and that's bad. So realistically, it would be nice if you could have both options there, which this is the thing that comes up pretty regularly, I'd say. And is a way that a lot of people, try to go after your board if your board's a little weak, which is when Fezandipiti EX is at its best. And yeah, I mean, honestly, Fezandipiti EX, a second one is nice. It could be prized as well. And cards are prized semi-regularly, right? So that can be very bad. And you can't just lose to a card being prized like a lot of games. So playing a second one is nice for that. Overall, it's something that I think is nice. Also, it can be a card, I mean, it's a card you're looking for almost every game if you draw into it. then you can save that the ball search card you're going to use on it for something else, which could be really useful. And also benching it early or whatever isn't really a liability. The main liability of playing it early is that you won't necessarily have it later on, but having the second one, that's not really a liability. Yes, it is like a little lower HP than some of the other cards here, but it's not that bad. So honestly, a second Fezandipiti EX is something I would recommend people trying out. I mean, it's not super good. It's like okay. I played it in a couple of decks and it's felt fine. I think Fezandipiti EX is pretty underrated. I mean, I don't know. People think it's very good, so it's a little hard to call a card that people think is amazing underrated, but I do think it's a bit underrated. Then we have the last deck here, which is Mega Froslass EX with Munkidori and regular Froslass and Madoo. If you're not familiar, Froslass puts damage cards on Pokemon between turns with abilities on them. Munkidori, then, of course, I've talked about a bunch of this video, moves damage cards off your Pokemon onto your opponent's Pokemon if it has a Darkness Energy attached to it. And then we have the new Mega Froslass EX. This card here is a pretty interesting card with Resentful Song for 1 water. I talked about it actually in a video where I ranked the post-rotation decks, and it's not like super good, but it does 50 for each card in your opponent's hand. We do see this list running for Ionos to increase your opponent's hand. I will say that Iono is rotating, right? So post-rotation, this is going to be worse, presumably, but it kind of depends. But also, if you're forcing your opponent to go to a lower hand so they don't get knocked out, then you're essentially hand disrupting them as well in that way, which is pretty interesting. But Mega Froslass EX is pretty good. I mean, it's efficient, it does pretty good damage. The damage isn't really in your control, but you do know how much you're doing before you do it. So overall, I feel like Mega Froslass EX is a pretty cool card. Obviously, it evolves from the same line as the regular Froslass as well, which is a pretty good card in the game. And then you compare it with Munkidori, and this works pretty well. Honestly, Mega Froslass EX fulfills a similar role in the deck to Marner's Grimmsnarl EX. It's not really going to do as much on its own, but I'd say it's also a lower commitment. We see less Darkness Energies. You don't need to be running these like other stadiums. Although I guess it's more so like you can't run those other stadiums, as in Spikemouth gym. And then also you don't need like stage 2 stuff, right? So overall, Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX being replaced by Mega Froslass, that's not like exactly what's happening here, but it's kind of what's happening here. And I do think this deck is pretty cool. I think it's a fun. I mean, I like hand size stuff, right? If you know me, you know I like hand size stuff. But tell me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on these decks. If you think they're cool, if you think they're kind of boring, if you're really excited to see try these decks out. As I said, they all won a tournament as well, so these are like decent decks here. They're not like absurd decks, but they're definitely pretty decent. But I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. And as Awesome said, see you in the next video.